Demonze, the Cypher. Prepare for another all-nighter.
On the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Welcome back to AM 1690 WVON. This is the Sports Cypher. I'm Maya Kai, and co-hosting with me is Camron Smith of Comcast Chicago CN100. And from the sounds of that, we're about to jump into some headlines that have been going on throughout the week. And I have a question I want to put out there. Do you think Kobe Bryant called and wished his mother a happy Mother's Day?
Not at all.
Because if you have not heard, pretty much Kobe Bryant is in a legal battle with his mother. And it's all based on that some memorabilia, that about 900 items that an auction house appraised, that's going to be about maybe $450,000. There's like some of his jerseys from high school, stuff like that, some trophies that he won. According to Kobe's mom, he gave her permission that he didn't want the items to do whatever. He said, what do you want me to do with this? I don't want them. So she proceeded then to take it to this auction house, I think in Philadelphia, to make money from them. And Kobe Bryant was like, hold up. I didn't say that. I didn't authorize you to go to this auction house. So he went to a federal judge in California, and they've put a kibosh on it for the time being to decide where this should be settled in court. What's really interesting about this, I'm like, wow, you're squabbling with your mother. And it's a little disconcerting to me. And I said this to somebody. I said, I'm trying to determine if I would be angry because, well, we don't know what the conversation, what really happened is. But would I be mad if my mother wanted to sell my stuff and make money if I was somebody famous? I think I'd feel a little cheap in a way because it's my mom. I'm like, why do you want to sell my stuff to strangers? I kind of don't like the very idea of it, that she thought it was okay to sell his stuff to strangers. And if that was her intention, she probably should have gone to him and say, well, since you don't want this stuff, I put it in the storage locker. Do you want to maybe just auction it? Because maybe you would have wanted the money to go to charity or something different. To me, the whole thing, how she proceeded, I think is really inappropriate, in my opinion. I think it is.
I think it's really hard to believe that Kobe wanted to auction off one of his Laker championship rings as well as his high school jerseys. That's very hard to believe that he would want to do something like that.
He was saying there were things in there that he thought, how did you get that? Like he didn't even realize it was missing.
Right.
From things that he had in a collection of belongings. So, which that makes me scratch my head and say, well, really? So the whole thing seems a little fishy.
It really does. But I think one of the roots of this was they were saying that Kobe and his parents wanted a home in Nevada for, I think it was $450,000, something along those lines, and Kobe wouldn't give it to him. Kobe said no. So mom went back and said, okay, you don't want to give me the money? Well, I'm going to make the money off your stuff. See? So that's some backhanded stuff that his mom is doing.
Well, first of all, and I've heard some other, rumor has it that I guess Kobe is really good to Vanessa's family. Like her mother is like in $1 million home, does things for that family frequently. But I guess they're saying he doesn't do as much for his parents as he does for Vanessa's family. Because you realize she didn't come from any form of money.
Right.
She was just an everyday kid that he met, was cute, hooked up. Because there was a lot of conflict when he married her. One, the family his parents did not want him to marry her. And two, they were really livid that he didn't have a prenuptial agreement when he decided he wanted to move forward with it anyways. So there's been some friction with that from the very beginning.
Yeah. I was going to say, isn't Kobe Bryant family pretty well off? His father was an NBA player for a long time.
He actually coached overseas.
For a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think his family is all right.
Yeah, I don't think they're broke by any means. Yeah. I mean, so to me, for this,
not saying you can't give your family money, but
right. I'm like, and this is your family. So if your mom kind of wants, now that's where I'm going to kind of come down to him. If your mom wants a house, Kobe, in Nevada, buy your mom a house.
Yeah, well, that's true.
It's your mom. I mean, you can afford a $900,000 house in Nevada, for God's sakes. So to me, answer to that is shame on you for not buying your mother a house, even if it's the fourth house that they own.
See, maybe he's trying to put his foot down, saying, okay, well, and you have to understand that he's probably bought his parents so many things over his career, has hooked them up with so many trips or jewelry or whatever it may be, right. whatever Kobe decided to spend his money on for his parents. But maybe this was the final straw, saying, okay, you guys, what do you need another house for in Nevada?
Cam, quick question. I know you're covering a lot of young athletes going into the pros in college right now. Just talk about a little bit of the pressure, not so much from the hanger-ons and the friends, but the family. Just talk about some of the pressure that some of these kids are facing just coming from their family. And something like with Kobe Bryant, like, okay, I got to put my foot down so I won't buy you your fourth house. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, it's really hard for these athletes to say no, especially family members, because you want to have everyone to be well off, to have basically the same experience that you're going to have in terms of just receiving this money and going out to different, vacations or cities or anything like that. But with these young athletes nowadays, I think it's very difficult for them to try and figure out, okay, who's really there for me and who's really there just to try and cling on. I call them leeches. You can really spot the leeches early on. And what these young athletes have to do now is find that good circle. And it's kind of tough when you have parents that are really trying to use you for your stardom or your fame. But and a kid in particular, Jabari Parker, who I've done work with he and his family with the Mr. Basketball show last year, and we just actually shot the second Mr. Basketball interview with him this past Wednesday. So he comes from a good family circle, good family foundation, and they know who's in there for real for Jabari to help him out, or they know who the people are that are just trying to exploit Jabari. So it's a difficult situation. You have to be able to know how to read people, and a lot of people don't have that skill. But with the Parker family, they have that. And with these young kids, it's kind of tough.
Expectations. You have a lot of people who weigh a lot of expectations, like you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And they have to determine, actually, Dr. Jen Welter touched on that part of the whole mental skill is that people have to realize when they put all these burdens on you, that does affect you. And they have to be able to turn that off and on and go on the court. So, if you're doing playoffs, how do you feel like when Kobe was going through the whole, whether it was divorce situation or the rape, those things kind of weigh heavy on you. So I think it is difficult. And obviously it's been shown repeatedly that a lot of people can't make the choices that are in their best interest without feeling like they've shortchanged somebody else.